Welcome to Gording in the Barn. This is Ben and Bobby Lowe. We own Benjamin's Landing at Lowe Farms, and we do programs at our farm on gourds. We raise 60 kinds of hard-shell gourds, and we sell seeds across the country. And you can find out about us by looking at our website. Ben, you want to point to the website?
I can't see it.
On top. There we go. benjaminslanding.com. And we're on Facebook at Benjamin's Landing at Lowe Farms. And as I said, this is my husband Ben. He remodeled this beautiful barn for me, and this is where I have my workshops. And this is our friend Gordy, and he's our pal and partner today.
Hi.
Now, we are starting a new venture, and as you can see, I have a cardboard box in my hand, and we're going to call these Benjamin boxes. And every month we will have a new craft that can arrive at your house for your child within a Benjamin's box. And the first one that we're going to do today is called the Mosaic heart. And it's just a little heart, and it's made of mosaic by eggshells. Now, when we do these craft boxes, we are not going to send you paints, glue, and polyurethane to spray them with. We are hoping that if you're a craft person, that is something that you have on hand. But, for instance, with this little heart, we are going to send you a little Peruvian gourd that's already wood burned with the heart design on it, so you don't have to worry with transferring the pattern. And we have 3 little hearts also wood burned on it. And you will be receiving the pipe cleaner. And we will send you all the supplies you need, and we're even going to drill the hole in the top of the gourd so that you don't even have to have a drill at home to do this. And we're trying to make it as easy as possible and do an outreach for children who may not have had a reason to know what a gourd is. And hopefully they'll enjoy working on gourds. It's a brand new canvas. Now, for those of you, let's talk about paints a minute. When someone takes a workshop at the barn, I tell them that they can do it however they like. So if your child doesn't want to paint their gourd red, but maybe they want to paint it blue or purple or yellow, that's fine. We will send with you your box a outline of how to do this, as well as the link to this YouTube video. And we will also send you a picture, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, I always say, so that you'll know if your product looks like ours. Or then it'll help you be able to tell what I'm talking about. So, but when it comes to painting, you don't have to use acrylic paints like I do. And on the directions, I just told you to paint the gourd red because there's so many different shades of red. Somebody might have primary red at home versus somebody else might have Alcazar crimson red. Use what you have. Don't go out and buy something new for such a small project. And that'll be fine. And the same with if you don't have paint, you can color a gourd with a magic marker. You can color a gourd with shoe polish. So use any other medium you would like. You can color gourds with inks and dyes. That's fine. So it doesn't have to be exactly as we say, as long as you just have fun decorating this little gourd. I will tell you that we are going to use this craft crinkle paint. It's a glitter paint, and it comes in the twinkle paint, or it comes in what's called glamour dust. And you can find those online or in your local craft store. These hide a myriad of problems. If you think that maybe your 3 and 4-year-old isn't painting like you think they should, you put a coat of this over it and I'll tell you, their little gourd just looks beautiful. And it also serves as a sealer, so you don't have to spray it, and it really gives it a nice shine. Also, something else that you may want to think about is a Krylon spray. And you just want to be careful this time of year that you're spraying outdoors and that you're not around your children when you spray because of the fumes.
It's good.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's got fumes. What do
You don't
think,
wanna breathe
Gordon?
them fumes.
Nope, don't want to breathe those
They're
fumes.
more
Okay.
worse than carbon dioxide.
So let's get started. I'm going to use a styrofoam tray that I got from the store, and I'm going to spray a paper towel, folded paper towel with water, and I'm going to put a piece of wax paper over top. And hit this. And then I'm going to take some black paint. Always shake that can. And for those of you using paints and a brush, of course, be sure you dip your brush in water and you dry it on a paper towel. And you're going to take your brush.
What does that do when you're
What
wetting the brush?
You're wetting the brush, but you're taking the excess water off, because especially working with little kids, if you don't dry their brushes, they're going to have a real runny mess.
Runny paint.
Runny mess.
Runny mess.
I don't know how else to.
And you don't want a runny mess on,
Right.
on a gourd.
Right, Gordy?
Right.
Right. And so you're going to paint the inside of the gourd of the big heart black.
That really looks sharp.
Yes, it does. And if you notice, we already have
It's like
three.
a glossy black, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but it will dry
Pretty.
flat.
Will it dry flat?
It's a flat black. It'll dry flat. Notice I got out of the lines a little bit.
You can straighten them
Tell
out.
me, well, it can be straightened out. There's nothing that can't be fixed.
That's right.
And I've done workshops with parents, and the little kids just love to paint on their own, and then mom comes back and fixes up the edges and whatever to make it what
Puts
she
a little
wants it to
gloss
look
or
like.
something on it. And cover it up.
But if you notice the
Makes it
tiny,
it turns out just as well.
yeah, right, Gordy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
And they'll
Miss
have as
Lowe.
much fun. Now, yes, Gordy. And the tiny little hearts are already wood burned for you. So now when you put on the red paint to cover the gourd, whoops, that's not red, that's black.
That's black.
My age is showing here. Okay, let's try
We
red.
don't want to
There we
tell.
go.
We don't want to tell nobody.
No, we don't want to tell anybody what a ripe age we are. Okay, so we're going to go ahead
She's old
and
every
paint the
time.
rest of the gourd black. No, I think that's red. You
That's-
two are confusing me, but everybody can see what we're doing.
We're
It's fine.
confusing the participant here today, Gordy and Mr. Lowe.
Yes, and so we'll go around those little hearts. But
They won't
again,
let us handle a paintbrush.
oh, no,
No.
I'm confused enough thanks to you two. So anyway, we're going around those little hearts, but you know, if little fingers cover those little hearts, it's okay because you have black paint. You can just go back and fix it,
Back and
or you can just have the hearts come through the red paint.
One thing about paint, you can always fix it.
Well,
Put more
and
paint, just put more paint on.
well, and what?
Right, Gordy? Right.
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 But one thing we want to remember is
You let me have a paintbrush and I'll put the paint on.
that's what I'm afraid of, Gordy. That's
I
why
do a lot of board fence painting.
you did.
Yes.
I bet that
Miss-
Ben Lowe
yes,
had you
Miss
painting.
Lowe.
Well, guess what? No board
I
fence
gotta
painting
paint
today.
the board fence this summer.
But if you notice, if they do go over the heart, you can fix that. That's not a problem. But you want to keep in mind that this is your child's project. And however he does it, or she does it, is the way you want it to look.
However creative they
That's
want to
right.
be, that's what it'll be.
That's exactly right. And so, to save time, once you get the red painted, you could take a regular hairdryer. I'm going to clean my brush good after each different color that I used.
And then you wipe it off again, right? You wipe it off with water.
Oh, sure. You always dry your
Yeah.
brush on the water. I'm going to take another board that's already been painted the black and the red that I already have
That
done.
really looks sharp, Mrs. Lowe.
Well, and here's this one where we were going to put black on it, but I forgot that thanks to you and Gordy.
You're
It's
really
okay.
a good painter, Miss
This will
Lowe.
work. Oh, well, thank you too. So anyway,
Thank
our
Gord-
next step
You thank Gordy,
is,
hon.
oh, Gordy. Our next step is to get the mosaic look. And so we're going to take some Elmer's glue, white Elmer's glue, and put a dab on your little palette. And I'm going to get a Q-tip. And I'm going to dab the glue, dip the glue in the Q-tip, or the Q-tip in the glue, and I'm going to rub it all over the large heart. We're not going to worry about those little hearts because they're pretty tiny. If this were an adult project, we might. And so if you see, I have a good bit
What
of
does
glue.
this do, Mrs. Lowe?
What do you mean? What? Oh, the
The
glue?
glue.
Well,
Does
what?
it-
Can I talk?
Go ahead, Miss
Okay.
Lowe.
The glue is going to adhere the eggshells because prior to this, in your directions that I sent you, your first step is to take an egg, crack it open, and then you have scrambled eggs sometime, keep the insides, but you're going to take the shell and you're going to wash it, and you're going to pull that membrane that is inside the eggshell out and let this shell dry. So I have my dried shells, and now you or your child, whichever, are going to chip off some shells. Oops. And we're going to take one and we're going to put it in the glue. Now, you can do a couple of things. First of all, you can use your Q-tip to move the shell around a little bit. When I put that shell on, it broke into a piece. But I can take my fingernail and break that shell again so that it will be in a piece. You don't have to, but if that happens, it happens. I suggest that you use larger shells with little fingers. If this were an adult project, we'd be using a little bit bigger shells. But what we're going to do is fill the area of the
Glue.
heart, yes, of the heart, okay, with these pieces of shells.
Mm-hmm.
And move them around with the,
Well, at least that's one thing about the glue. It's going to hold the shell there.
yes,
To the gourd. and
yes,
It won't be falling off and
exactly. And the white,
giving you a lot of problems.
and what color does the white glue dry? Do you know?
Clear.
Yeah, it dries clear, so you won't see it.
It dries clear, Mrs. Lowe.
Some people like to just,
I learned that in art class.
did you?
Yes.
You took art, Mr. Lowe?
No, Gordy took
Gordy
art.
took art.
Yeah.
And who taught Gordy art?
I guess Mr. Grove must have taught Gordy.
No,
Down at North Harford High School.
Gordy's older than that.
Oh, well.
So anyway, what I'm doing is taking pieces of the shell that you or your child is breaking up, and they're going to go ahead and place them on the gourd. And the one thing you don't want to do is overlap the shell, because if you overlap the shell, it may not stay on because the glue is on the underside. Also, another question might be, which side of the shell do you put on?
Probably this side next to the yolk.
No,
No?
no. You're going to make sure that the outside of the shell faces you, and it's on the outside.
You mean the outside of the shell was on the egg?
Uh-huh. Yes, this
Well, that's
outside
what
of
I'm
the
talking
shell
about,
should face you.
outside.
Well, the yolk is on the inside.
The yolk's on the end. You're putting the yolk to the glue, right?
Correct.
Yolk to the glue,
Correct.
and
Got
then the
it.
outside is being shown.
Yes, I will agree with that.
Outside.
I will agree with that. Now, this could be a real tedious task. And notice I can move some
Well,
of
it
these
would
around
be,
with my
but
fingernails.
since you're putting glue there, the glue's more or less sticking the
Yes,
shell
it is.
to the
If you
board.
use tiny pieces of shell, it will take you a long time. All depending on the age of your child. Now, not only can you move these shells around with the Q-tip, you can also move the shells around with a toothpick. Okay, you could use the end of a brush. You could use an awl, okay, or some
Or
kind of
like a little
pick.
pick or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Toothpick.
yes, yes.
Toothpick would work.
And
You
there
know,
we have
A
it.
metal pointed awl would probably keep breaking the
Shells.
shell.
And you know what? On something that's an intricate piece of work, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
That really
Okay.
looks good there, Mrs. Love.
Well, I think that's enough for our purposes, and that shows you what your mosaic is going to look like, except it kind of jumps out at you and
It does.
yeah, it says, I'm a mosaic. Well, we want it to be a little more subtle. So we're going to take a second and we're going to dry this. And all you need is a regular hair dryer. And a few more minutes than that, but we'll be okay. And then you're going to take a baby wipe. If you have younger brothers and sisters at home, that's fine. If you don't, just any type of damp cloth will be good. And we are going to put black paint over top of our eggshells, and we're going to repaint that heart. Now, the reason we painted it in the first place was so that if where your eggshells don't meet,
You made
if
a
it's
pattern, more or
if
less?
it no, it where your eggshells where they don't meet, if it's a tiny spot, the raw gourd will show. Therefore, if you cover the eggshells, if you paint the black and then come back and paint over the eggshells, you won't have to take a magic marker and try and get paint in between the shells. It'll be there. So now this is black. Now you don't want this to last very long, okay? So you're going to take this baby wipe or damp cloth. You don't want a wringing wet cloth. You know how wet the baby wipes are. And you're going to wipe off the color. Now you can leave the shells a light gray, a dark gray, a white, but you want to be sure that you see that mosaic pattern that they're making. And when you do this, and when the little fingers do this, you're going to get some black on the red. That's okay.
It's all right.
You're going to get some black on the red. And so what we'll do is very carefully take a brush and we'll just go around those edges
It's all right.
and clean them up. Because
Gordy,
we're going to use
Val's
that
here
twinkle,
too.
that twinkle paint.
Hi.
Who's Val?
Valentine.
Oh,
Valentine
Valentine the
is a-
dog is here.
Yes.
Oh my, that's Gordy's
Gordy
friend.
says, I like Valentine. She keeps
Valentine is our farm
she
dog.
keeps close contact with us.
Yes, she gets a little jealous sometimes when we pay more attention to Gordy than to her.
She does.
So when you're finished you have something that looks like this. And you can see the mosaics, but it's not as bold and bright. It's more subtle.
That's a very nice job, Mrs. Lowe.
Well, thank you, Gordy. You can call me Bobby. It's okay.
That's all.
All right.
Nice.
So I'm going to dry this a second. And then we have to make it shine.
There's always a process to this, isn't there, Mrs. Lowe?
Yes, there is. And this, as I said before, this is great stuff. And it's
It
I call it
gold
twinkle,
dust.
or we do glamour. The glamour dust is a little bit smaller particles than the gold. And it comes in silver. You can get it in red and blue, just about purple, any color you want. But notice what it does to that little gourd. It
shines.
It just makes it shine.
Makes a shine on it. You want to shine up something, get some glitter dust.
And you would brush this on the whole gourd and dry it and wait till it's dry. And then our last step, which is easy peasy,
Mm-hmm.
and Mr. Lowe cut these for us. We have a 6-inch,
Pipe cleaner.
thank you, pipe cleaner. I forgot what the thing was.
Yeah, pipe cleaner.
We have a 6-inch pipe cleaner, and we're going
But I don't
to
have a pipe.
twist the two ends.
Gordy, do you have a pipe?
I hope Gordy doesn't have
I
a
don't
pipe.
have a pipe.
Gordy better hadn't have a pipe either. And what we're going to do,
We never picked up the habit.
good. We have a pre-drilled hole that
Mm-hmm.
actually Mr. Lowe did for you.
I've done all the hard work for you guys.
Yes. And Gordy supervised.
Mm-hmm.
And Valentine. And
You
we're
guys.
going to insert the twisted end of the pipe cleaner in the gourd. And then very easily, very gently, we're going to pull the two sides out and pull it down till it looks like a heart. And this is your finished product.
That's
For-
really nice, Mrs.
What do you think?
Lowe.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And this
job.
takes about 30 minutes total
Nice glitter.
if you
nice
want to do
shine
something.
to
And
it.
you know,
A nice
for little kids, they're not going to
shelf
last
setter.
much more than that time. So if you're interested in your child receiving a Benjamin's box in the mail, just go to benjaminslanding.com, our website, or go to our Facebook page, Benjamin's Landing at Low Farms, and we will have more information. And I would say that we will also have information about the video and how you can find it, the how-to. But if you're looking at this, you already found it. So that's fine. What do you think?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If there's
Ask me a
somebody-
question.
If there's somebody local, could they just stop in and pick this up from you guys?
As long as they pre-order it and they send us an email or a Facebook text
get an appointment.
that they're, yes, for an appointment for when
You
and
know,
where,
maybe
because we're
neighbors
actually in two different
Neighbors
locations.
would like to just pick it up right here, at the barn. Yeah.
Well, that would be
Sure,
fine.
that'll work.
And you can, we're going to make our website so that you can order through PayPal, to pay through PayPal. And if you want one or more kits in your box, if you have a couple of children, we can send 2 in one box if necessary. That will be fine.
2 or 3
Mm-hmm.
kits in one box.
Right. So we hope that you will take advantage of our offer, and happy Gordon.